Good evening, good evening, good evening. Let me know if you can hear me. And I'm a little bit late. Wasn't deliberate. I thought I would get here earlier, but it didn't materialize as such. Let me know if you can hear me out there in YouTube land. I have a lot to talk about this evening. I'm going to look for your yes or no first before we move forward. And we know the routine when we come in, so I know we started already. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Loud and clear? All right, good. We have enough to talk about. I have a long list here we need to go through. A lot to talk about, Obviously, we're here to talk football, but I have to do my usual thing first before I jump into the football. So what's on my list? First thing, I have to start with Trump because Trump is the news of the day. So the judiciary, which are the courts, have asked him to stop having those deportation flights to, say, Venezuela. His people had pushed back on it. But they've decided, and the courts, they are requesting the courts to lift the ban. Court hasn't decided to do so. So we're going to have that fight between the courts and the executive branch. Should be an interesting fight since the Supreme Court make all decisions eventually, no matter what the lower court says or the appeals court says. And then subsequent to that, we'll see what happens. They gave him all this power. They gave him immunity from prosecution. They gave immunity when he's president that he can't do anything in the line of duty that he can be held accountable for. So let's see how it works out when their colleagues have cases in front of them and he pushes back on them. He's also threatened tariffs against any country that acquires oil from Venezuela. Now, it's sort of sad that people don't understand the sort of contradiction in all of this. So you squeeze Cuba and you squeeze Venezuela, and their economy is now in the, it's in a really bad place. So then their people have to migrate to your country because they're looking for economic opportunity. They can't live off their looks alone. So you're cutting off your face to spite your nose. You destroy Cuba's economy. You have them on your sanctions list for everything. So the economy is in the toilet. You do the same with Venezuela. And you don't realize that a combination of factors such as you squeezing those parties, along with you flooding those countries and the other Caribbean countries with your guns, are going towards destroying those countries and forcing those people from a safety standpoint and from a financial economic standpoint to migrate to look for better opportunities. Not rocket science, but you're not smart enough to realize that. So keep doing what you're doing and see if you can stop them from coming to the border. You can deport them, but then try to find a way to come back because everybody has to make a living. They only have one life to live. Russia has opened talks with Ukraine. Bless up Jargons, bless up Tripoli, Dre the DJ, everyone in the chat. Please hit the like button when you come in. People, not understand on operating now. No, let me say, I shouldn't say that. Some of you operate. I'm going to get all cranky when I don't get my likes. I like my likes, so hit the like button. And I like a YouTube, hit the like button. What was very funny today, bless up float management, is that the White House inadvertently text they bomb Yemen, because people can sit in their office in Washington, D.C. and just kill people without any sort of repercussions. And so they mistakenly or inadvertently send their war plans to some reporter, which is the rave now in Washington. Or we realize these people are just incompetent and they have they talk about DEI. I wouldn't say DEI for them because DEI is a moral and a useful purpose. What they have is just have a bunch of blondies being a spokesperson here, in charge of education here, and a bunch of different things who don't know their head from what. So it's really interesting how that works. They found some explosive device at a Tesla in Texas today. So people really want to get Tesla, put it out of business by any means necessary, it looks like, as Malcolm X would say. And Tesla is getting more news. They're down about 70% first. No, let's say about 90% in Germany. It's all over the place. In Europe, they're just abandoning Teslas. And you know, Europe is very much focused on climate change, want to do what's right for the environment, but they're not having Tesla and Musk. By the way, that text that they sent out to reporters, where JD Vance and Hegseth were very derogatory in regards to Europe, and that's now spread like wildfire. And people now realize that those guys have no tolerance for Europe. They believe Europe are parasites in my term, and also don't want to have any engagement with Europe in terms of, at least from an economic standpoint. And that's why they're trying to increase the tariffs to Europe. So it's going to be interesting how that works, because what you're going to have is a new world order, which is people got to select the worst of a bunch of countries that they deal with. Right? Europe doesn't want to deal with China, but if the US is pulling away, they have no choice. China has no conscience. China is not no saint here, people. They have no conscience. Russia killed people for joke, and China engaged with Russia, as if it's a normal, everyday environment, because they do the same thing. Because of being a communist country and how they operate and restrict people's rights. So we have so many repressive regimes, whether it's Argentina, whether it's El Salvador, whether it's Russia, whether it's Hungary, whether it's China. They're just magnifying every day. They're just increasing every day. And then the US want to join that list. Really interesting time. You see there's some protests today. Over 1,100 people got arrested, including the mayor of Istanbul, because Erdogan, who is the president of Turkey, who's been there almost for life, people are having it with him, and he's not having it, obviously. He's going to use his forces and force to pressure those people. So interesting time, people, we're seeing across the globe. And then Marco Rubio is going to Jamaica because America doesn't believe that the Caribbean are independent countries and should make their own minds about who they deal business with and who they engage with. They want to tell us that we can't have nurses, Cuban nurses, to help us when they're taking the same nurses from the Caribbean to the US to help themselves. That is the epitome of hypocrisy. So we're going to take your people, but you can't replace them or supplement them. You just got to do it without, because we say so. All right? We say so. That's how it works. It's amazing how that works. The hypocrisy is ridiculous. And then we see more people. We have now up to 50,000 dead in Gaza. I guess they need more. They need to double that to 100,000. I guess the way they're operating it's the world is messed up, totally messed up. But that was my little soliloquy on, I'm gonna call it more recent news, or today's news, at least from where I sit. You would hope that people are much more exercise much more humanity in how they operate. DC says, as I enter, I have clicked the thumbs up, right, but do the same for us. Thank you, DC. I truly appreciate it. See that? DC is providing an example of how we should operate here. Yeah. I think we need to realize that, right? We don't seem to realize that. We don't seem to realize that the US has been as bad as some of these other countries who we think are horrible. They just do it in a more subtle way. As they say in USAID, they used to be behind the scene doing covert operations. I mean, when they released the Kennedy documents about Kennedy assassination, it showed they were trying to assassinate Castro, right? Using the mob to do so. That came out years ago, but it just proved it now. They're not necessarily good people. They're not. As Trump has said it, actually. Trump said that when we were talking about Russia. He said USA not good. So he's basically saying the US is X up, as you know. And he should know, because he's in there now getting all that intelligence and information about what they're doing or not doing. Half the people haven't hit the like button. That cannot be okay. Cannot be okay. And then I saw this article. Should I pull it up? It's about Jamaica rum. This is weird. What makes a rum Jamaican? Question at heart of Caribbean legal dispute. So I'm going to read the article. It says, rum is a key part of Jamaica's cultural identity. But what exactly makes a rum Jamaican? I don't drink, so I wouldn't know. That question is at the center of a dispute that is continuing to rumble on the Caribbean island, as some producers wish to strengthen rules on what can and cannot be called Jamaica rum. In October last year, Jamaica's Intellectual Property Office, was it JIPO, Rabbi JIPO, approved amendments to the geographical indication designation for Jamaica's rum that was originally set up in 2016. The biggest change is that aging the rum overseas is now prohibited. So if you do, buy it and drink it all at once. The amendment was called for by the Spirits Pool Association, SPA, the trade organization that seeks to speak as a single voice for Jamaica's 6 rum distilleries: Appleton, which is owned by J. Ray Nephew; Clarendon, Hampton Estate; Long Pond, New Yarmouth, and Worthy Park Estate. The SPA's argument is that a stronger GI is needed for the appellation to be officially recognized in its 2 key export markets, the EU and the US. Everything you look on, people, is the US. If the US sneeze, we catch we catch flu. We probably catch COVID if they sneeze. It says this would give Jamaican rum better protection against competitors and lead to more drinkers recognizing it as a premium product made to high specifications in a certain geographic location. But the amendment has caused quite a stir in Jamaica because one of the biggest producers claimed it would put it out of business. The company, National Rums of Jamaica, NRJ, owns Long Pond and 73% of Clarendon. NRJ is comprised of 3 shareholders: the government of Jamaica, Demerara Distillers of Guyana, and the Barbados-based West Indies Rum Distillery, which is labeled WIRD, which is Word. The key factor is that Word has since 2017 been owned by French spirits from Mason Ferrand. Its business model relies heavily on exporting rum in bulk and aging overseas, something not allowed under Jamaica new GI. It argues that rum aged outside of Jamaica is still Jamaican rum, and that the island has exported and aged rum abroad for centuries. And so the NRJ is appealing the ruling of JIPO, which is a hearing scheduled for April 28. Why we can't just get along? I don't know, make enough money. And I complain about rum. Rum of all things, people. Rum. Crazy. DC said Jamaica rum needs to set standards similar to France and champagne. I've never allowed their champagne to age outside it. Okay. I don't even know what that means, I don't drink champagne, I don't drink rum. Bless up Tycoon. I don't drink any of that stuff. So that's where I'm very ignorant when it comes to those things. All right. What's next on my agenda? So we have gone through that. We have gone through the rum thing. That's the Jamaica thing. So I want to mention something. I was listening to a program today. No, before I jump into that, let me jump to this. USA, as you know, lose to Canada. They lost to Canada in hockey. They lost to Canada in football yesterday. And they've not been winning the tariff war so far. So Canada has been having the upper hand. But what I'm bringing up is that Pochettino is under a lot of pressure. You hear Landon Donovan blasting the team. You hear Pulisic and Pochettino say, be patient. Pressure is on people. It's all about outcome. It's all about winning. Not anybody tell you anything. It's all about winning. That's why I don't understand the fight that we have amongst ourselves about who plays who. Now, I was watching Sky Sports today. And Toulouse, who is a team in France, as many of you know, they said they select players only by data. Let me just say that again, because a coach who's been on this program and I have been arguing about this. We had a big argument just before that I watched that program. So no, we can't stop beating him. I'll beat him. Until we talk to him, because he's traveling now, we'll beat him. They said they have 45,000 players in their database. They only select players based on data. That's it. They have a lot of data information. I forgot how many countries they get data from, but it's a lot. It's over 100, right? Is it 100? I forgot what the number is. I probably should have played it. I was going to capture and play it. A lot of data. And they only select players based by data. And then they referred Brighton and Bournemouth as 2 other clubs who probably utilize similar methods about how they do what they do. And frankly, all those clubs are being, both Brighton and Bournemouth, who are smaller clubs, are doing really well. So they have data on 45,000 players, and they only select players based on data that comes to the organization. I think that's crazy. But I've said this, and I was saying this to my friend before I watched this program, which is, I don't think people understand how significant, impactful, and ubiquitous data is. And when I was in corporate, for example, it became to a point where it's all about data management, data sorting, data assess. It's all about data because it's all about information. And you realize how much information you can then garner, synthesize, assess, review. And if you don't have data now and tools to get the data, parse the data, and use the data, you're behind. You're going to be falling further behind. Further behind. It's all about data, people. Now, my friend was giving me a hard time just saying, well, there's the eye test. And I agree, because you hear me say sometimes, like when we played against the US and Damian Lowe went to tackle and Pulisic made the pass behind them to go score, the data doesn't capture that movement. And my view was the data needs to capture that movement. They can actually capture that and quantify it, right? The data needs to quantify it and capture it. And it can be done. Everything can be, to me, quantified in some way, shape, or form, even what is deemed to be qualitative data. So I would love to see Jamaica really understanding that data and AI are truly the future in all disciplines, not just some disciplines, whether it's agriculture, whether it's pharmaceutical, whether it's housing, whether it's sports. AI and data are going to be pervasive and any and everywhere. And you have to be on the ship or it's going to leave you, definitely. But it was amazing hearing them saying that. And I know if you're thinking about in the US, for example, Dallas was one that, Mark Cuban was a techie way back when. That's how he made his billions when the .com era started. And Dallas was one of the first teams that started using data in the NBA. So, yeah, really, really interesting, people. Really, really interesting. What else on my list? Oh, I was listening to Maverick's program today. What I call it? I call it the PTC program. You know what PTC stand for? In people? You know what PTC stand for? Tell me if you guys don't know what PTC stand for. I was listening to the program today. And I probably shouldn't have been surprised, but today was an exceptional day. It was bad today. By the way, people, I'm going to play the press conference that Steve McLaren had, but I'm going through my process. So PTC to me, I have names for him, right? Right. First of all, let me just say this. Somebody texts me, hey, people, may I tell you now, I miss them everywhere now, people. I have them everywhere nowadays. I'm there. I'm blessed for the people who keep linking me. But somebody tell me, so I'm going to read it. I read what them tell me. He said, Maverick said, Cranky have him up because he doesn't come on my show. Now, people, you don't know me, right? You don't know me, I'm mistake. You're not there with me from day one. I know, sir, I'm not partial who me criticize, right? Rudolph Speed was my first interview, and I hear me criticizing because I'm a hypocrite. The only people I'm not criticize is other YouTubers, and if you're my friend, because I said that already, because I feel uncomfortable to do that, so I'm not doing it. I'm not criticize other YouTubers, even though sometimes you feel inclined to do so. One time, you probably call out 433 Presser because him just went way over the top, right? But I'm going to criticize YouTubers. I'm not thinking, okay, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to criticize my friend them. But me and him have the same, barber here. But then tell somebody say, because I had asked a person I know really well in New York to tell him I'd like to come on my show. And he told the person he was busy. And I was like, fine, I didn't ask again, right? So you're busy. But he have time. So he never has time. Because he don't really respect YouTubers. Let's be honest. Don't respect YouTubers. So for him to tell a person that him see him at some reunion and tell him, say, me have him up because he'll come on my show. What kind of little boy thing that, my youth? I hate that thing that. Well, I mean, have people, we don't have them, we don't see them with it. Because there's no reason that if you don't come on my show, you don't come on my show. I mean, ask them, let me tell some people. That's why you don't see me have a lot of guests. I don't ask a lot of people come on my show. It's more recently, I'm getting a lot of pressure from some people I know saying, you got to bring on more guests, got to bring on more. And I'm like, I don't like to go ask people for favors. I'm not in the favor business. From I come to this country, I've never borrowed $1 from anyone. I'm going to borrow money. What do I borrow money? I'm going to ask a favor. Okay, me ask to come on my program. That's a favor. So I called Kyle the other day if he asked Erwin to come on the program, and he did, and I appreciate it. But me not like that. Can me feel like then me obligated. Let me feel like then boy, me I beg something. I mean, I begging business. Me not beg. So when he must say me have him up, no, I'm gonna have you up. But when you're on your PTC program, I'm gonna listen to you today now. We don't know why I'm gonna listen to him today. I'm not really listening to him anymore. And I'm because me have him up. Because I'm busy. Because I try to do them thing. Today was an extraordinary day, man. It was bad today. It was always about local players. Maggie should play, and Dixon should play, and Sifa should play. And what we have doing so much Englishman in for. Let me say something, people, because I'm doing some stat checking. And I've said some of this before. Morocco went to the World Cup semifinal with 15 overseas born players. 15. Guyana is in the girls under 20 last round. Almost all the team is overseas. Guyana beat Guatemala the other day. They had 15 overseas players in their team. The Saint Vincent team we're playing. And I was wondering, I said, oh, come Saint Vincent get so decent? Can it not look terrible? They have 15 players in the team who are playing overseas. I don't know how many of them are local, but they have like 5 from England, 5 from the US, some from Canada. So they have 15 players playing outside the country. And the one person we can associate with is the kid named Anderson, who did that back heel and scored a goal in the game and looked really, really good. And he played college ball in the US. But I knew there was something about Saint Vincent I didn't understand, because I used to play against Saint Vincent players in New York. Most of their national team players used to play in New York, and the league I used to play in. Sprague guy and all of those guys, they come up and play, right? No, they live here and play, and they bring up people to play. So, and that's a long time ago, but you know, I know St. Vincent players, and they're at a certain level. So I was very surprised, really surprised to see how well they did against us, because they're using a lot of people who are based overseas. They're not based in the Caribbean. We're probably one of the few. Trinidad is, York and others trying to push the Trinidad government to change their laws to allow maternal grandparents, kids, and maybe even further down, to be able to recruit them and change the constitution to allow them to become citizens so they can be part of the program. We have all these people, and we're trying to fight them because we have these morons like PTC program and like Maverick who are trying to fight against those kids. They're talking about Dixon. You know I like Dixon, right? You know I like Cephas. But they're like, why you bring Dixon to come play? I'm only get 5 minutes. That's the coach's decision. Did we bring Ravel all the way from Saudi Arabia and where he is and didn't play? Like, what are we talking about? Dixon is not even in the Watford team. Let's be honest. I like Dixon. I've said this numerous times. But he's not even he was in the Watford under 21 team. And they want to come be a Dixon with Hayden, and then beat Hayden. Go look at the stats when you watch the game, because you don't understand football. A lot of you don't. You just talk football. You don't understand it. You watch something like a JPL thing, but the level of players is the same. All I'm hearing is that we should put in Phillips. I watched Phillips play against Guatemala. A lot of energy. Da. A lot of energy. Da. We see McCullough in the game. You know what I find funny about the game too? So they're pushing for all these locally based players, right? And then when they talk about King and McCullough, because McCullough is the one who made the initial mistake, he missed a goal which I couldn't miss at this point in my life. Can't miss. At least I hit the target. Maybe I miss. And then King was the one who escorted the man in the goal. And they played down the magnitude of the error. They played it down. Oh, it's just a one-off situation. You know, he didn't play as well. But if it was some English youth did that, they'd beat him to death. It's very frustrating. It's very disappointing. It's very divisive. And for Maverick to think that I have him up. No, Maverick, maybe if you do things, maybe, you know, if you do things which I think are not appropriate, if you do things that's not in the best for the collective and the best interest of the island, then of course we have to push back. Let me ask you another question, Maverick. Come on, you know, watch my program, but the people call up and I'm sure they watch my program. Let me ask a question. Since you talk about local players and how local players play, and this Maggie play. Maggie played against Trinidad twice. If someone didn't ask who was Maggie, you would know Maggie. I like Maggie too. But if they asked who was Maggie in the field, you couldn't tell who Maggie was. He wasn't playing. He was just out there taking up space. I don't understand people. It is beyond frustrating to hear the nonsense. Every time I come on the channel, it's the same. I listen, it's the same narrative over. But you know what? Then they're upon the corner. It's upon the corner. Sure. Are the same people them tall? None of Maverick can't get nonsense meeting because the same people might call him and can't get nonsense meeting in one show, but he talk enough nonsense sometime. Enough nonsense. Cataract, bless up. LB secretary, bless up. Tell Cataract say bless up. But I don't understand people why we have such narrative and such negativity when it comes to diaspora. I don't understand. And the more I talk about it, the more it manifests itself, the more I'm going to talk about it. It's not okay. I will talk about this local ball. We saw them against Trinidad. The same players you're talking about. The same players will get their chance. We saw them. And you say, well, it's just one game. But when you see Mason Greenwood coming, he played one game and you cut him out. Hayden played one game. Hayden didn't have a bad game the other day. Go look at the stats. And Hayden is not an 8, he's a 6. Here's the question for Maverick. No, PTC, the PTC gang, no Maverick. The PTC gang. Here's the question for you. Jamaica played 4 youth team competition in the last year and say a half. How many of them did we qualify for the World Cup for? And how many did we advance in Concacaf past the Caribbean? Please tell me. And all these are quota-driven teams. The under-17 team is quota-driven for boys and girls. The under-20 for boys and girls are quota-driven teams, dominated by local players. How many of them go nowhere? All know I run off on the mouth. All know I talk every single day. Please tell me how many of these teams progress anywhere since on the island. The game is so wonderful. And people are so composed and they play so really well. Please impart to me and inform me how many of them PTC's Pandakana. Pandakana mean a Pandakana sports program. You know, when you Pandakana talk with your friend them, that's how the program run. It's not a professional, articulate, well-designed program. If you call them, you have to get busy, them cut you off. Pandakana program. No professionalism. Lack professionalism. Man talk to some people for 5 hours and then talk to you for 2 seconds. It's not it's not a professional show. It's a Pandakana show. So I don't have a switchboard. That's what I call it. But it's not okay, people, for us to keep on being so divisive as a people when it comes to players. If you're a citizen, then change his constitution, man. If you don't want the overseas-based players, then change the constitution. Because they're better than the local players. They're just better. Not every player is better. Blake has been in the goal for what? Forever? Because he's better than everybody else who has come to try to keep. That's a fact. Right? So what are we arguing about? If you're good enough, you play. If you're not good enough, you're on the bench or you don't get called. That's how it works. And to keep having the same narrative every single time we meet is exhausting. People, 59 likes, 150 watching. That's not good. May I take a break? Till the likes them go up to 100. May I take a break? May I take a break, people? Because I don't know the program run. I can't dare talk and my mouth get dry and I get perturbed and hit the like button. So when it comes to 100, I start talk again. Come people hit the like button. We're at 60 now. We still have 40 to go. Still have 40 to go, people. By the way, I appreciate the support I've been getting of late. The subscriber base has been going up slowly but surely. So that's encouraging. And hopefully continues. And one of some of the new things I'm trying to do with shorts and all that's helping are just people just tell each other about the program. Because I appreciate the support. Hit the like button, people. We're at 68. We need more likes. We need more likes. 68 of 149. That's not good. We're gonna talk about the team, the proposed lineup, where we think who's gonna start. Because tomorrow gonna be really interesting, people. Come on, people. We need 24 more likes to get to 100. The 144 people can just hit the like button, you know, people. You know, if we wait for the 100 to come, you can just hit the like button and I'll kill you. Yeah, Maverick like to say that. It makes him feel good. Maverick is a big fish in a small pond. And I keep telling him that and I don't understand that. Maverick is a big fish in a small pond. Okay? Period. He ain't no big fish. A big fish in a small pond. In pond the kind of show him have the same people them on every single time. He wouldn't diversify him call base. You try call Maverick program, so what happen? You try call Maverick program, it rings sometime, it cut you off, you feel so mad out your call. I said, I stop call because I waste of time. Sometimes you want to call to address certain points, you know. But you want to see them people call, but they see the same nonsense. Good night. Hello?
Yes, Cranky.
Who's this?
Yeah, just said I call in for try to ask your opinion about the World Cup qualifying. I know right now we're trying to qualify for the World Cup, right? But find out like your opinion, what you think really, your opinion on the World Cup qualifying. Because I kind of look on it, I don't have much confidence from what I see lately. So I was wondering your opinion on it.
So, you know, I'm going to play the coach's press conference because I think they haven't realized what the coach is saying. The coach is basically telling everybody who are not listening that he doesn't have enough quality players. And that's why almost every single press conference since we lost to the US, he talks somewhat shape or form about recruiting. Right? And he expects a big number to come by summer, which would be possibly Lewis Baker, the Mason Greenwood, and a few others who I'm aware of. So what he's basically saying is that I have players with me now, but I don't have enough quality, especially when it comes to a core 18 to really compete with these teams in the region who we're going up against. He's basically saying that. Now I hear PTC on his program and all them talking about too much people are coming, and if you have cut off and all that nonsense, the coach is telling you the players are not good enough. Even some of the English players, English-born players he brought in, he may think some of them are not where he wants to be. They may be past their prime. They may be not playing well. So he's going to make some changes.
You remember a statement I actually tried to listen when he talked, you know, from day one from he came on. I remember he made a statement. I can't remember who asked him a question in one of the press conferences. It was one of the YouTubers. And he made a statement in regards to, I think the person had asked him, this was a little while ago, asked him like if he's recruiting and was naming a couple of players. And the way he answered, I'm trying to figure if this guy is really for Jamaica or he want a lot of these English players to stay. Like, I'm wondering because there's no way you're going to know unless you press these issues, press these people and find out if they really want to play it for Jamaica. No, I don't know exactly what he's doing, you know, but he sounds as if like that particular day, as if he really not interested in really asking like some of the better players that got Jamaica heritage to really play for Jamaica. It just seems like that's what I'm getting from it. I don't know if this guy came to Jamaica to just get a retirement fund or something. I'm not sure about it, but I'm just saying, you know, because yo, I like beat people, you know. But cause me not really know that. Me just like watch Jamaica. Like me left Jamaica from 86 and me live in America. I watch all of Jamaica game. I fly down and watch Jamaica game them. I spend a lot of time. I actually spend more time at Jamaica than I last 7 years.
So I assume you're a citizen, right? You don't have a green card.
Yeah, me have both. Me have both. So I travel for my Jamaican passport just to stay longer. You know?
Okay.
But my thing where me just not get like this coach, may I try to figure him out? Like, what is he trying to like really do? Because if you keep complaining, and then again, every time they're supposed to play a match. When they're gonna play Saint Vincent, of course Saint Vincent is better. Of course, all these countries is better. But what I'm saying, when you're going into the game, I never see like Pochettino with the US or any coach, even when the other guy was at the US. I don't see them going to when they play like lesser competition. He going into press conference. He's like, when he go into press, he's like, yeah, they don't wait. Like he's telling us not to expect a result. Just go back and listen to this guy press conferences before the matches with these lesser team, you know. We're not talking about Mexico. We're not talking about Costa Rica. We're not talking about Canada, the US. When he playing lesser team, he go into the press conference with this thing. Well, don't this and don't that because, you know, Saint Vincent, I see them playing there. Like, brother, just get the match, get the game together, the plan that you're going to do, and go into the game and try to win the game. And stop coming and like you telling us to expect a bad result. That's what I don't like about him, man.
Well, I think he's trying to temper, you know, expectations. So if I tell you not to expect much, then you may lessen your expectations. So if you don't have the best result, I told you that it may not be good. That's what he's trying to do. And that's exactly what happened the last time, right? He told you, and he's right. Saint Vincent is better than, look, every team, let me tell you something. Every team this year believe they have a chance to go to the World Cup, given the 3 top teams in the region already automatically qualifying. So every team is going on scouring the globe to get the players they can get to try to come in and do something. That's what they're all doing. And we are one of the teams who have an abundance of heritage, as he called them, players overseas, and we haven't scoured the globe. We are now reactive to do so. We should have been doing this 2 years ago. We should have got all them players 2 years ago. You hear me talking about recruiting strategy by the JFF, which is lacking. And if you want to see a company that doesn't do well, go to the top of the house and look, and you see why it's not doing well. You ain't got to look at the players or the marketing or the support or the finance. Look at who is leading the organization, and you can see why it's not doing well. We have been poor, and it's now manifested itself.
Yeah, before I go, man, I'm just my real thing is that I'm afraid that this World Cup's gonna be in the States where I can watch all a Jamaica game, and I'm afraid we're not gonna make it. I just have I have this fear, man, that we're not gonna, because if we mess up and end up in a group with Panama or one of them teams, we're gonna have a serious problem getting up.
You're totally right. You're totally right about that. And these rounds of game coming are very important. And we should have been putting the full press on to bring in the best players we can source and try to make a business case as to why, or whatever case we need to make as to why they should join us. We haven't done that. What we have done is keep having this narrative, which is espoused by the JFF and also by people in Jamaica itself, about the local players. Look at 98. We only had 3 players. You hear Whitmore said the same thing the other day. And we're 26 years down the road, 27, 28 years down the road, and we're still hearing the same nonsense. People have died and born and have grandchildren, and we're still talking the same nonsense about 98. Instead of focusing on the future. Yeah.
Well, I agree with you on a lot of the stuff you say, man. I'm just hoping they can fix this thing and someone can watch all the Jamaica game them when they're in a World Cup. You know, because I couldn't go to the front 98. I can watch the game them now. I just hope. I just keep my finger crossed still.
Well, we are with you, man. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Good call, and call again. All right. Bless up. Yeah. So let me play the press conference, people. And let me guys know if you can hear the press conference, because I tried something different today now, so I don't know if it's going to work. If not, I have to play it on my phone, probably like we saw last night when I interviewed Conrad. But let's see if this works. It ain't working. Oh, I'm doing something wrong here. All right, we tried it.
Concacaf Gold Prelims. We're joined at the head table by the head coach of the Reggae Boyz, Steve McLaren, and also player defender Richard King. There'll be history being created tomorrow, as Jamaica will become the first Caribbean team to host not only a Concacaf Gold Cup game, but a Gold Cup Prelims game as well. Back in 2019, we hosted Honduras in a Gold Cup game, and we will be hosting a Prelims game tomorrow as well. So another feather in the cap of Jamaica. To commence proceedings, we kind of ask for you to raise your hand and pose your question, whether it is to Coach McLaren or to Richard King. So who would like to start this morning, please raise your hand, and we can commence before training starts at 10 o'clock, where the media will have the first 15 minutes. All right.
Good morning, Coach King. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, Coach. You've seen Cavalier played here many times, right? And you've stated that this pitch here is a smaller dimension compared to the National Stadium. Do you feel this will impact the style of play you want with the Jamaica team?
I don't think so. You're right. I always come to a field and always stride out how wide it is, and if it's 16 strides to the 18-yard box for the sideline, then that's wide enough, and it's 16 yards. I'm not doing meters, I do yards. All my steps. So yes, it was 16 in Saint Vincent, and it's 16 here, so it's wide enough. Yeah, we want to use the width. We want to use the speed, and I've got to say the groundsman we came 2 weeks ago to Sabina, and it's in great condition now. So well done to the groundsman and the people who worked on the field, because it looks very good.
All right, Coach, just a follow-up as well. Yesterday you met the legendary René Simoes, big personality here in Jamaican football history. Can you share with us, is that the first time you met him? And can you share a little bit on what you guys discussed and how was it like to meet him?
It's always nice to meet another coach. Another coach with such enthusiasm. I think, 74? And unbelievable energy, enthusiasm, smile. You can tell why the players liked him, why he was successful. He looks like a player's coach. I sat with him for a long time. I could have sat with him all night. Can't wait to get his book, read his adventures. Though I got to say, in probably the couple of hours I had with him, he told me all his adventures anyway. But what a great story. And very successful for Jamaica. We're trying to emulate that, and I think that's what he stressed when he spoke, not just to myself and the staff, but also to the team. That go to Jamaica proud.
Coach, 1-1 draw away. What's the mentality going into this game for tomorrow?
You have to win. That's the mentality. When we look at the game and we saw the stats, I think 75% possession. I was talking to Rene last night. We were talking about the style of football. What did he do in '98? And he talked about keeping the ball and possession of the ball. And one of their goals was to achieve 600 passes in a game. That was one of his targets. And I said, we were close the other day. We had 585. So, the principles are the same. So, in terms of possession, they defended deep, but we had lots of possession. We had 16 attempts at goal, and we had 7 on target. And when on the night, it was very frustrating. When you look at the game overall and the chances we created, we should have scored more than 1 goal, be it a penalty. We had lots of very, very good chances. And as I said to the players, 75%, 16 attempts on goal, 7 on target. Normally that wins you a game, and we have to replicate that again. The only thing that I think we've talked about is the urgency and the tempo needs to be higher, because we need to attack. We need to attack quicker. So the tempo just needs to be higher. So when we went to the goal down, all of a sudden the urgency went up, and the tempo increased, and we need to keep that tempo high against this opponent and keep continuing that. But I got to say, they didn't surprise me. I think they surprised the team by the way that they played and the speed in which they could transition. And I said, and I warned, they're a good team. They're a good team. They beat El Salvador and should have beat them in the second game. So we knew that the opponents, if they're big opponents, they're up for the game. But it's up to us to do the job. And the theme is finish the job. Finish the job. We got a 1-1 draw. We got a penalty at the end. We deserved more, but we didn't get more. That's football. Make sure tomorrow we get what we deserve.
Coach, I'm Shawn Nicholson, very, very tall, physical striker. Do you think we can find a way to utilize his characteristics as a striker more better? Because quite so often we see the wingers going down the byline, not going down the byline, cut back and a pass in the central area, or they cut into the midfield area. You think we can go a bit more direct and hit Shawn Nicholson with those crosses? We tend to not do much of that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you're spot on in terms of Shawn. I'm not saying he's an enigma, but we have to get the best from him. We know with Mikel how we play with Mikel. We're still working out how to play with Shawn and use him effectively. But I've got to say, 2 or 3 chances we created. He was in the box and he was there. And you're absolutely right. We've talked about improving our final third play. So getting more crosses into the box. And Shawn being the person that should be in the middle of the box. He's a number 9. So we thought, what's his job? Is to score goals. And to hold up play. We did that a few times, played long into him. Probably didn't do that enough to go over the press. and try to go through it. And sometimes we need to go over and use Shamar's physique. So you're absolutely spot on. You know, we know how to play with Mikel. We have to learn also to play through the middle with Shamar, because in the wide areas we're very, very strong, very quick, very effective. In the final third, we need to be more effective. Saying that, 16 attempts on goal and 7 on target shows that we created more and showed more of our principles than we have done in a lot of other games.
My question is to King. King, you played in front of a packed national stadium against Inter Miami. What have you taken out of that game to bring to the national setup as you are now prepared to face the second leg of the Concacaf Gold Cup prelims?
Well, basically the same, you know, the intensity is more than the national team. You know, focus is has to be more. So it's really just the tempo of the game, you know, and the knowledge. That's really it. You just have to up that. Yeah.
Okay, good morning, Coach. Are there any updates or changes to the roster for tomorrow's game?
We have. We bring Damien Lowe into the squad, so that's an extra player. We brought him in late last night. We have 1 or 2 little issues within the squad that we need to look at. So we'll do that today and pick the squad and pick the team tomorrow.
Coach, Isaac Aiden deployed in more of a box-to-box role in the last game. Is that a new role that you're trying to find for him, or
No.
solid 6?
No, good observation and good point, because we talked to Isaac and we knew on transition they were very quick. And we know that the number 10 was very effective normally for them. So we wanted to nullify that with Sully, and allowed Isaac to be more of an 8, box to box, because he can do that role. He can get forward. An example was the US, our first goal, where he made a corner run, pulled back, and Amari Gray scored. So we know he can be a 6, we know he can be an 8, and we had the 6, the defensive one, taking care of the transitions, like our rest defense, and allowed Isaac to be a little more box to box with Bobby Reed on 10. During the game, we changed that a little, and especially the last 20 minutes. I think with Isaac on 6, and Bobby and Dimmy on 10, and Cephas. What I said right at the beginning. It's not. It is about the starters, but a lot of emphasis we put on the finishers, which are the people coming on. And Cephas came on, did a great job for us. Warner Brown was different to Shamar, and Kahim for the last few minutes showed that we have got speed there, and we can change a game, and we can affect a game. So the game is not about. It is about how we start. The first 10 minutes we emphasize, but it's also the last 10 minutes and the last 3 games. Trinidad we played twice, and Saint Vincent. We scored in the last after 84 minutes. So the team is making an impact from the bench and winning games or affecting games.
As I said, the last couple of games are finished. Goals are scored after 88 minutes of the game. Does that show that the team is actually finishing strong in games?
Yeah, absolutely. It shows the strength of the squad and the depth of the squad. And I know that it's really a good exercise. We had the camp with the local players, and we had the 2 games. It really gave me an insight, and many of them have an opportunity in this camp, in training, maybe not playing, but certainly in training, to have a look, to widen. So we've had 6-7 games. We've had a lot of plays to look at, and now the goal is World Cup qualification in 26. Part of that is to qualify for the Gold Cup, and part of that is to build a squad, and a consistent squad to go forward. So we are laser focused in our recruitment, especially for the summer. So that's really, really important. And we have a squad now that we need to finish the job, do the job, and get us in the Gold Cup for the summer.
In the last game, Amarbel, they consistently forced Amarbel. They overloaded Amarbel's side and consistently forced him to go inside on his weaker foot, and also try to transition from that. Is that something that you have identified, or also something you're working on, where the transition is also concerned?
Yeah, absolutely. I think normally when we looked at them, their transitions were coming down the left with the boy Anderson, and he had one great move. The only time that we relaxed a little bit on that side, but I thought Dexter and Richard did really well on that right-hand side, because that was the most dangerous when we viewed them. But they're right; they're just as effective on the other side. So that's the big danger. We said to the team, the players, the defenders, especially rest defense is key to keep possession, keep the ball, and also to counter press and make sure the rest defense so they don't transition. So you're absolutely right. As I said, they're not an easy opponent, Saint Vincent, and prepared well for that game.
Richard, just a couple of questions. Coach, I remember the first couple of press conferences I asked about the handbrake being up, as far as the players being unable to express themselves because you're just getting to know them. Do you trust your players a little bit more now?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a good question. And the first thing we say to the players, you're here because of how you play in the clubs. So play here, how you play in the clubs. So we ask no different. And yeah, I think what it is we've started. I wouldn't say it's a new style. It's my way of playing, and they have to get used to that. And when they go away, they come back. We have 1 or 2 days in which to recreate certain patterns that we've had in terms of build-up, in terms of pressing, and sometimes that takes a while to synergize. And we've yet to do that. It's sometimes what I call a little clunky. Sometimes we have it so we can show the team, whoa, that's it. That's great play. Tempo, width, speed, crosses, chances. But we need that more consistently over the 95 minutes.
And Richard, how difficult was that first game, and what did you learn as far as gaining experience from that game in Harrisville?
Well, I wouldn't say it's difficult. It's just, we just have to focus more from the first hit to the last. That really, so it wasn't really a hard game, because we could have won the game, we should have won, but unfortunately we didn't.
Richard, what is the players' mindsets for the past 2 days been like? Like, what's the tempo? Can you give us like a little behind the scene of like the energy that you guys planning to come out with?
Well, it's the same, kind of vibe, that energy. The guys are in the game. We should win the game. It's a must-win game. So the energy and the vibe is there to win the game.
And Sonny
Felix for JFF Live. Just wanted to ask, thus far you have 25 caps for Jamaica. How much do you love playing for Jamaica?
I love playing for my country. I want to make it 50. Further questions?
All right, well, just the final question. Low is now back in the team. Can you state what kind of impact you expect from him to add to this team, especially for the match in leg 2?
He brings experience. He was unable for the first game because of personal reasons. We understand that. But he's experienced. He's a character. He's a leader. Very vocal. And he slips in. Whether he starts or not, we will see tomorrow.
And finally, in regards to some friendlies that would have been announced in May, in more details in regards to those matches?
Yeah, we were okay with that. It's all finalised. Yeah, I mean, it's yet to be finalised, but we hope to have 2 friendlies in the UK, in London, somewhere. I think that's a great experience and will be a great camp for the build up to the World Cup qualifiers and hopefully the Gold Cup as well.
All right, members of the media, thank you very much for being here this morning.
on the coaching
People,
desk.
I
We
messed up
appreciate
here.
you being
Don't,
here.
I have
And
no
as
idea
usual,
what
people,
happened.
we ask you to like the video.
What did I do? I did something, people. I have no idea what I did. Oh man, I don't know what happened here. This is weird. Give me a second, people. I messed up here. I have no idea what I did. Give me 1 second, people. I'm trying to figure this. I don't know what happened here. Something happened. Virtual. It's not working. It ain't working. I don't know what happened here. And so we can't see you just fine. My system is crashing on me. I don't know what happened, people. I pressed something inadvertently. I'm trying to figure out why this ain't working. Oh, I think I know what it is. Okay, I think I know what it is. No, it's not it. Well, I have to work this way, no people, because it now work. It is a green screen. What do you think? You think Cranky Live is set up live? It is a green screen. But my green screen ain't working now. I don't know what happened. It's not working. You know what? We'll do the show still. No matter. Hold up. It no matter, people. We'll do the show. All right. So, no, there's no, I don't know into the background. It's not coming up. It refused to come up. It refused to come up, people. But we'll keep talking. Now, let me just say something, people, which I don't understand, right? I don't understand. Why is it? So somebody asked me, Cranky, what questions would you ask? And while I saw the question come up, your last Pornhub video. No, we're not a Pornhub video. We're not on thing there. I still don't understand what happened to my whole thing, though. It's really weird, actually. Let me pull this up. I'm still trying to figure this out, right? I don't know what happened. Nothing seems to be working here. But no, let me go over this question. So someone asked, what question would you ask Cranky, right? What question would you ask? So here the question. I jot these questions down just while you were talking. I would have said, Cephas, would you introduce Cephas earlier? And have you worked with him in the final third? Because now I'm using StreamYard because when you watch Cephas play, obviously, no defender can really stay with him apart from when he played against Dominica and they anticipated where he was going. But the problem that I saw was sometimes he gets to the byline and he doesn't make the best decisions. Right? He doesn't make the best decisions. So the question that arises for Cephas is, when you get to the byline, what do you do? Because it's important that he's effective when he gets there. Yeah, Maverick, over me. Yeah. Here's another question I'm going to ask. Apart from converting chances, what do you need to do differently in this upcoming game to negate Saint Vincent? Because even though we keep talking about we have the better team, we had 75% possession, their transition was really good. And they had chances. Blake made a save And if you remember in the first half, one shot went outside the post, whereby that could have easily hit the back of the net. Easily. So the question that arises is, what are you going to do to negate them? You're going to play the same team? You're going to play the same setup? What do you plan to do? Because frankly, he doesn't seem to have any ideas. Right? He doesn't seem to have any ideas. He's out of ideas. Which doesn't make sense to me. Third question I have here is, we're struggling with a team ranked 100 places below us, right? So, and my question would have been, this doesn't bode well for World Cup qualification when we have Panama, when we have Costa Rica, when we have Honduras, when we have Nicaragua, when we have Guatemala, when we have El Salvador, and I think it's going to be a good Haiti team. That's just those teams. And then you have the Trinidad of the world who have certain expectations. So, given that situation, where are we going? Because we're struggling with a team ranked 100 places below us. These teams are better. How does that work? Another question would be, he continues to emphasize recruiting. How close are we to getting the players that he wants? How many players does he need? And in what positions? Those questions I get off the top of my head, I was writing down as he was talking, because someone in the chat was asking what questions would I ask him. Right? And if I had more time, I would sit down and think about it, because Simon only give you 2 questions. So you got to come up with your 2 best questions, right? He only gives you 2 questions. You have to come up with your 2 best questions. And it's interesting because you saw King in the press conference, and normally coaches bring the players going to be playing. So King may be playing tomorrow. Right? But he keeps emphasizing the need for players, Now, when I listen to the people in Jamaica, I keep hearing that how many players he's going to bring in. Is he going to bring in more players? So I don't know what that means. If people believe that we have too many players, we don't need any more players. Now, someone said, no way King playing over Low. I don't know. You know, he said Low just got there. So the question is, would you risk playing Low when he just got there and he hasn't been in camp for the entire time and doesn't know exactly what they're going to be doing? DJ says, this squad doesn't have much options when the game not going in their favor. Yeah. So let me do something. Here. I don't know what I touched, people. I touched something and messed this whole thing up. But let's see if we can pull up. I'm going to try to put a team together. Let's see if we can pull up a team. Let's see if we can put up a team, people. And then we can talk about it. You guys can tell me what team you'd like to see on the field. I put up a team here. So let me take this off. This is a team that I picked. You guys probably can't see this really well. Let me see if I can move this up. Can you guys see this? I don't know why my screen is not showing well. I have these blocker on my screen. I don't know what's happening tonight. Let me try to change my location. That's not good enough. That's probably a little bit better. So here is a team that I pick, people. I think he's going to go more offensive. That's my view. I think he's going to go Lati on the left, because Lati didn't play the last game. Pinnock, King, and Dexter. Yeah, I'm trying to minimize it, but it's not. Pinnock and Dexter, right? That's the team, I think. Bobby Reed and Isaac Hayden. He's going to go offense. I think he's going to go offensive. Now, he's probably going to play Boza instead of Brown. So I have a combination of what I think he's going to pick and what I would like to see. Dear Rando. No. So here's why. Here's why I picked the team the way I did. You can replace Brown with Nicholson. Here's why I picked the team. So Blake's going to be in goal. I think Richard King will play with Pinnock, because I why would he bring him to the press conference then and put him on the bench? I don't see that. Dexter gonna play. Lati has to play left because Bell is injured, right? You guys know Bell is out. Bell has a knee problem, right? In the middle, I think he'd bring Bobby, because Bobby Reed wasn't effective in the game, and he's not effective offensively. Bobby hasn't had the best season. So I'll play Isaac Hayden with Bobby in the middle, and then you have a much more offensive team with Cephas on the left, Gray, Leon, and Warner Bros. That's my view. Now, I think Nicholson would start, but I don't think he should start. I don't think he played well enough. You remember him in the Copa? He wasn't playing well. I know Lowe is back, Owen. I know Lowe is back, but he just came back. Has Lowe been playing any football? He was out on personal business. He has not playing any football, so he's gonna come in overnight. You just put him right into the team. And why would you bring King then if that's the case? Because we know Pinnock's gonna start. So you're telling me he brought King to the press conference to do what? Gonna bring anybody else? Do I think King should start? I think Lowe should start actually instead of King. I think Lowe should start. Now, also another question I would have asked him was another question, which is really interesting, which is not being asked. So I heard that somebody asked him about on the right, Bell getting pressure and he's on his right foot. No, people, if you've been watching Jamaica football, 90% of the dangerous plays against Jamaica come down the left side or right side, the opponent's left side. Do you guys disagree with me? You go think back. That's what we keep talking about, right back. Whether it's Brown playing there, whether it's Dexter playing there, whether it's what's his name, Tavon Bell playing there, whether it's way back in what's his name was to play there, who's no longer in the team, and now we have Dexter there. The right back has been the problem area. In the last game, the one time they attacked us on the left is when Pinnock got overran when the player bounced him off the ball. Otherwise, they negated all the pressure to the left, to our left side, or the opponent's right side. All the pressure came from over Dexter's side of the field. All three chances came from that side. And that's been a theme. And the question is, do you guys have any idea why? I don't know. I can't say I really come up with a good reason as to why is that the case, which is most of the pressure that we get is either down the middle on the right side, not from the left side. And I don't understand. That's a question we'd ask him also, which is, has he thought through that? Does the data tell him that? If you're doing data analytics, that should jump out at you. Which is, do I have to overcompensate to the right, given most of the pressure I'm getting is from the right side of the field? If you go, or the opponent's left side, if you go look at the game, and Anderson, who scored the goal, was playing from that side mostly, it was very obvious. So Drew Ross says he had the same lineup, except Lowe is for King. Yeah, the reason I put Lowe in because most time I see coaches come in with people who come to the press conference, they start them. Remember when Rudolph brought Milano to the press conference, he started him up front. I think coaches ought to do that. When I play Lowe would play a right center back if he's going to play anywhere. Now, Lowe is a senior player in the team, and most coaches, it appears that Coach Jamaica would like him in the team. People, 198 people, 126 like. That can't be right, people. Come on, people, man. Hit the like button. I may not like the green screen, but hit the like button. Come on, people. Hit the like button, people. Yeah, Bell is injured. Bell hurt his knee, actually. So Bell is out. Bell is not going to play. I don't know if he's gone back to England, but he's not going to play. So they need somebody to play in that left. But it's got to be, look, when we played US, that's where Lati played, right? When we played US, we had a back three. Lati played over the left. Lati can play there. Gangstarkin said King must play. Why King must play that Gangstarkin? You need to give another goal. King was not good the last game, people. It wasn't only that goal that he gave up. He was going long in the game for no reason. Good evening, Presser.
Yeah, evening, big up.
Big up.
You know, one bad game doesn't define Richard King, you know?
Yeah, fine, but then you have a player who's been in the team forever come back, so, right? That's what you're working with.
But this is where as a coach, I have to make the big decision in terms of, you know, in England, before Tuchel went in, they said that it's not really about picking the players based on name, you know, but it's picking the players that is right for the system. You know what I'm saying? So who's more right for the system, Lowe or King? I think if he's trying to keep the ball, keep possession of the ball, and not up to go long majority of the time, then King. But if you're looking to go along, then it's Damian Lowe, right? If you're looking for, I don't want to say rash decisions, but if you're looking for a player to pick up an early yellow card or make a stick with tackle, then that's Damian Lowe for you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we already know what we're getting from Damian Lowe. In terms of King, he has had good performances for the team, more so in the USA game, right? Despite, well, we were losing, but to be fair, it was a good cameo from King, right? And, see again the JPL, not too bad for defender. So I think one game doesn't define the player. And again, as a coach, this is where you have to make the big decision, right? But
wait. Where's Presser? Is Presser going to call into the program?
What do you mean?
Yeah, 43. Is he going to call into the program? Where is he? He's going to call in? Tell me I love him for him to call, because there's somebody on the phone, but I don't know who it is.
So what's the difference with the person on the phone and 43 Presser?
This person sounds very rational, sounds very measured, is not overexcited, is not using words which you have to duck. That's what I agree with you or not is irrelevant. I'm just saying. I'm just telling you what I hear.
Yeah, I mean, it's seasonal. Sometimes
it's seasonal playing. All right, seasonal. Go on, seasonal.
Listen, last night I was watching back the post-match press conferences, right? I didn't get to watch all of them, but I was watching the one for the USA game, the second leg. I watched the one for the Honduras 0-0 game, and I watched the one for the Cuba 0-0 game, right? And there was a common theme in the press conference, which was about the midfield. And I think the most used word that McLaren has used since being in the job is possession, right? If you check it, possession.
Yeah.
Always mentions that word. And he was talking about the Honduras game in the sense that, they were really compact in the midfield, really difficult, and we couldn't break them down. And he was talking about Tariq Magee. And someone had asked him the question about Magee playing on the right in the Nicaragua game to him shifting him in the number 10 position against Honduras. And he was saying that he wanted somebody with the skill set who can, break the defensive line, who can take initiative to find those passes, who can be creative. Casey Palmer was playing in the double pivot as well, I think, with Latibody or one of those guys. And it's almost like he talks about the midfield in that sense, right? But he's not picking the players that can carry out that job. You know what I'm saying?
No, you make a lot of sense. So what you're saying is, if you're saying you need creativity and possession, but you're not picking players with those attributes, then as well. Right, and you're not playing players have those attributes, then what does that mean? Or does he think the player who you think have those skill sets really don't have them?
Yeah, and the only players, barring Bobby Reed and Isaac Hayden, those are the only two players that can at least do such of a job, right? And again, we'll go back to the USA game. We brought Ravel Morrison, didn't play him. Okay, this player is not playing good, but okay, you believe that this player has the skill set. Then put on that player, even if the game is lost, even if it's a gone game or gone cards, he still play the player, He talks about Magee being the Messi of Jamaican football, right? He doesn't play Magee in the first leg of the Saint Vincent game. So again, it's like he's saying these things but contradicting himself in terms of the selection of the midfield. You know what I'm saying? And
Magee is the Messi of Jamaican football. What Messi? Which player are we talking about? Messi who played for Inter Miami, or a Messi person? What are we talking about?
That makes sense. A Messi person, I guess. But
what are we talking about? Messi is is an alien footballer. We can't be comparing people to Messi, who can't show me a differentiation with Trinidad. I like Magee. You hear me talk about Magee, but Magee doesn't turn up in games a lot of times.
But no, Drew. Gonna say somebody from the JFF tell him that's so McLaren thinks about Magee. Okay. But again, in terms of how he picks the midfield, it doesn't align with what he's saying in the post-match press conferences, right? About retaining the ball, about being creative, breaking the defensive lines. I'm not really seeing those players in the midfield. Again, barring Isaac Hayden and Bobby Reed. The other guys, Demario Phillips, Tariq Magee, they're not of that quality to me, right? If they have the characteristics, they're not doing it at the national level. It's one thing to do it in the JPL, which Magee himself isn't even doing it in the JPL, right? So how is he going to do it for the national team? And you talk about the players like the John Russes of the world and the Corey Anderson, who, you question the reason as to why they weren't selected, plus Ravel Morrison to an extent, because he said in a press conference that no matter where you play, you will be selected, right? So Ravel Morrison, there's a question mark as to why he wasn't selected. And then he praises a lot of these players to the extent where one press conference he comes in, this player is an excellent player like the Adrian Reeds of the world. And then the next international break, you don't see these players, right?
So 433, because another friend of mine was a coach, and I had a conversation. Sometimes coaches tell you what you want to hear. especially if they're foreign coaches and you're local and he's trying to appease you, right? He tell you what he wants to hear. You don't notice that he's always trying to manage expectations. He said no teams are easy in this region. And when the under 14 won, he said they won by 7 and he has no idea what he's talking about. And they beat a team by 7 and he kept carrying on. You sit here thinking, the man don't know the region. The man doesn't know what he's talking about. We played French Guyana. When we go play the US and play Costa Rica, it's a different story. What is he talking about? So if you don't know the region and you're trying to appease people, then you're going to tell them what they want to hear. And people are falling for it.
To be fair, I guess I have to be fair to him in terms of managing expectations. And I guess you have some coaches that they tell you what you want to hear, right? One player that he did tell something that maybe that player didn't want to hear was Angdin, when him said to Angdin, why them call it Rooney and Angdin say him play like Rooney, and McCann say, well, like Coach Rooney, you don't play like you know? So probably Angdin never want to hear that.
He said that, really? I never heard that.
Yeah, it was on a video. It was on a video recently.
He plays like Rooney.
Yeah, he matched
then how come then he's saying that McGee is Jamaica's Messi? Isn't he doing the same thing? Like he talk about stuff his mouth then, right? Because McGee ain't play like no Messi.
But listen, in terms of other aspects of the game against Saint Vincent, listen, I feel like the pressure should be on McLaren to qualify the team for the Gold Cup, right?
Yeah.
No, there are other aspects in the Saint Vincent game that I was not happy with in terms of the overall how we played in that game, right? No, we did create chances, to be fair, right? And you can play a bad game and still create chances. Is whether or not you finish it.
Yeah,
so
we created, as he said, we had 7 shots on target. We had about, what was it, 16 shots? So somehow I can't find the stats on SofaScore. I don't know where to get the stats from.
Yeah.
And then we had 5, we probably had about 3 or 4 big chances, right? We scored a goal like that we didn't get. No one has mentioned that. Have you guys anyone mentioned that?
The Bailey, well, not Bailey, but
Labakisa scored.
Yeah,
Did anybody ask that question? Do you hear anybody mention that? I maybe I missed some people, but I haven't heard anyone mention that. Have you heard anyone mention that? I'm asking you, Presser.
Not really. I
don't hear anybody focus on it or saying, we scored a goal which wasn't given to us, which was a clear goal.
That's a Bailey interfered or something.
He interfered. He was running away from the play. He interfered with nothing. You go watch the tape again and hear what the commentators are saying. Right? He didn't interfere with anything. He's running away from the play. He's not affecting the eyesight of the keeper, nor did he approach the ball. He's leaving where the ball is coming from. No, the defenders blocked the keeper, not him. That was a clear goal.
But listen, in terms of the team selection for tomorrow, I don't think it's anything to overthink, right? I think the team kind of picks itself to an extent.
Okay, so what team are you picking? You're saying Nicholson starts again? Here's another question that I've asked the coach, which is this. Why is Nicholson doing a one-man press? There are like so many questions. People, those of you who are going to these press conferences, please spend some time really thinking about the game and your questions that you want to ask. You see me put off my mic when somebody asks King if he liked playing for his country or something like. Why are we asking throwaway questions? You're in a serious press conference. You want to get serious response from the coach to understand what he's going to be doing, how we can be better. I mean, ask the question that the fans and stakeholders want to hear, right? Don't just ask throwaway. You only get 2 questions, Don't ask throwaway questions. We don't want nobody. We don't want no mental acuity. Don't play. We don't even no mental thing. Our big people give me. We don't no mental thing. Ask questions which are incisive, which are inquisitive, which could be are penetrative, and what you're gonna get answer. You can walk away and say, okay, that makes sense. Stop asking throwaway question. Stop asking throwaway. We not sitting there and think about the question before we ask them. Like questions like, you know what? They got 3 chances on the left side of the field. During the game, did you think about how you could compensate for that? And that's been happening since your tenure. Been happening since Halgrimson was here, actually. Even at Tapa. What are you doing to rectify that and prevent that, especially when the danger man plays on that side of the field? Like, ask questions which just suggest that we're going to rectify challenges, situation, problems. Don't just ask throwaway questions. It's frustrating. Go ahead, Presser. Sorry.
Yeah. So I think for the team, for me, I still believe it should be strong enough. Whichever team I'm going to state now, I think it's still strong enough to beat Saint Vincent at home. No disrespect to the opponent. But listen, you have a player like a Leon Bailey. You still have your Demari Gray on the left-hand side. Well, no. I'm advocating for Cephas to play Cranky, right? This thing where people say, oh, your performance better coming off the bench. Sometimes you just have to play the guy. You just have to reward a player. If this player continues to coming off the bench, right? And in 20 minutes and 30 minutes and 15 minutes, he's the threat. He's getting behind the back line. He's driving at players, which McLaren in the recent post-match press conference did state that he wanted the wingers to drive more. I believe he said that, which Demar Gray wasn't really doing. And Cephas does that. So I believe he should reward Cephas now. He has been coming off the bench the last couple of games and performing. You know, give the guy a start, right? So I would say up front, you go with Shamar Nicholson. You go with
no. So what has Shamar done to deserve a start? I'm dead serious. What has Shamar done in the last year and a half to deserve a start?
All right, listen.
Yeah.
I've not watched these games for his club, right? Worried that he was like getting out like one couple of assists, something like that. So I'm saying it's the expectation around Shamar Nicholson. If he gets it right, he gets it right. But he still have Warner Brown that he can at least take off the bench, right? So it's that expectation around a senior player that the coach probably has on Shamar Nicholson, plus the expectation that I have of Nicholson as well, right? But you still have Warner Brown coming off the bench.
Why wouldn't you play a false 9 then?
Why wouldn't I play a false 9?
Yeah. Because he's not doing anything up there. He's not running right. He's not moving up the ball right. It's just not. I mean, you have Cephas. You have 4 players for 3 positions, right? You have Cephas. You have Gray. You have Bailey. Let's say you have right, and you have Nicholson. It's only 3 positions. Which one should sit?
Cephas and who? Cephas, Bailey, and Nicholson.
Yeah, you have Cephas, Bailey, Gray, and Nicholson. It's 4 players for 3 positions.
Which one would I sit down?
Yeah.
I mean, Nicholson.
Yeah. It's very obvious to me. His movement is poor. I watched the game. His movement was poor. He's not moving off the ball. He's pressing by himself. There's no coordination. Maybe it's not him doing it. Maybe it's just how they organize or unorganized. But yeah.
No, he had 2 chances in which he should have scored in that game, to be honest, right? Obviously,
yeah, he had one from Bailey, and then he had another one which he didn't move to because the ball fell and he just stood there.
Yeah. But all right, to me, listen, I'm going with Nicholson, Cephas, Bailey, Bobby as number 10. The double pivot would consist of Isaac Hayden.
Wait. So you're saying you want Nicholson in the team? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, because I still think, regardless, it's still a strong enough team to beat the guys, right?
Yeah, we hope. We hope so.
No, we did create chances against them, right? We did create chances against them. It's just that we need to score.
We were the better team. We're the better team. We're the better team, but they got chances too. Let's not forget that they got chances, right? They got chances. Remember, Blake made a very good save, you know.
Yeah.
And maybe the shot that went wide, the kid probably should have hit the target. So they had chances, but we had better chances. I mean, we scored a goal we didn't get. Pinnock has to score. He has to score, and McCullough has to score. So yes, we got better chances, but they had chances too.
Yeah. So Hayden and I would play Lati as beside Isaac Hayden. Reason being.
So wait. Who gonna play left back? We can play left back.
Ainsworth. I'm telling you, I'm playing that in the midfield, right?
You'll play Ainsworth at left back in an game, yeah, man. Really?
Come on, man. You're going to start Brazil play. Listen, man. This team's still strong enough, not cranky. Team not getting no weaker. Still a strong team, right?
Okay. So let me put in your team. Tell me your team.
So Nicholson up front, Cephas left.
Wait, no. Start where we start from. Goalkeeper. Say Blake. Who left back?
Ainsworth.
What Ainsworth first name again? I forget.
Christopher Ainsworth. Christopher.
Let me just say Chris. Hope I spelled his name right. Okay. Who else?
Pinnock and King.
Yeah. You see not playing low?
No.
Okay.
Lembikisa,
yeah.
Midfield, Lati Bodier and Isaac Hayden plus Bobby. That's the number 10.
Why am I using uppercase here? Okay.
And Bobby has the 10.
Bobby as the 10. You're on top of people, you know.
No, that's it. That's when you change Bobby, that's it. Bench Demar Gray.
Oh, you're benching Demar Gray. Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
So I have a question for you. I find this interesting. So why are you benching Gray and not Bailey?
I don't think Bailey had a bad game to that extent.
Was Bailey better than Gray?
A little bit, I think so.
Really?
Listen,
how many shots did Bailey have on goal? Did he test the keeper once in the game?
I mean, he did set up the chance for remember
for Nicholson, yeah.
For Nicholson, he did set up a chance for Isaac Hayden as well when he played it back to Isaac Hayden.
That is true.
And he scored a penalty. So
okay, fair points.
Yeah, I don't think it was that bad, right? So listen, in terms of the lateral body selection, you might pose to some people, but listen, when I watch the Saint Vincent game, right? Look at Sule Makala in the midfield. In terms of his ball retention and his defensive capabilities and plugging the hole, in terms of the passing channels in that game, I don't think he did a good job, right? And even though Latibody is limited in terms of his passes going forward, in terms of
wait, one second. The pass up because Hayden was from Gray actually. It was a one touch.
The Gray?
Bailey played it. No, Bailey played it and Gray played a one touch. No, go back and check it. Bailey made a really good cutback. Gray made a one touch to Hayden on his left foot. And he should have put it away. That was a good chance, though.
No, when Demar Gray come off the left and come across the face of goal, right?
He shot. The keeper saved it. It went to Bailey. He crossed the ball. Gray laid it up one time to Hayden. Hayden shot with his left foot. The keeper saved it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Bailey never that much, to be honest.
No, well, he wasn't. Yeah. It's fair point. No, I'm just saying between Gray and Bailey, how you make a decision. It's not to say it was bad. It's just I'm saying I thought they had similar games actually. I don't think they were overly effective, but I thought they had similar games.
Yeah.
I don't think Bailey was that distinguishably different. They say, you know what? He's guaranteed to start. Why is he always guaranteed to start? That's the question I ask. And why is Gray also guaranteed to start? Because to me, neither of them have been truly effective. As you see, Cephas just trying to run people ragged. But anyway, keep going.
Yeah. So in terms of Lati, I think defensively, what he offers is that the Jamaican fans need to understand that. You see in the midfield currently, especially in that double pivot area, you need that player who's going to shield the back four. You need that player who can retain the ball and who can at least pass the ball 5 yards up the pitch, right? Yeah. I'm not looking for any exquisite passes from Latibody or anything like that, right? But I know what he offers defensively.
Right.
And I know that if he played in that position against Saint Vincent, a lot of those runs that they made through the midfield, Lati would have been there to stop it, Lati would have been the one to take the ball off the goalkeeper and then find that pass.
So why bench Lati for McCullough? Why do you think that?
Because I don't feel like Sule Makala did that job that he was supposed to do.
No, but I'm saying, why would the coach have bent Lati, who has started almost every single game?
Oh,
McCullough played decent against Trinidad. He scored against Trinidad, but levels matter. Why?
Well, he did say that he saw some of these JPL players against Trinidad, and maybe he's looking at the opponent in the sense that, okay, they're not like a US or Mexico, so.
Yeah, but he's the one saying how good they are and that they beat El Salvador. He's the one telling us how good they are. So you can't come and say they're not good. They're not good because he basically said they're very good and it's going to not be an easy game and they beat El Salvador and they have lost. They won 7 of 8. He said all of that, right?
Yeah, but I'm not really listening to the coach right now. I'm just about my team, right? So that's my team. And in terms of the Bailey thing and this, why I wouldn't drop Bailey?
One second, people rate 433's team.
It's more like on the left hand side. At least I know I have a player on the bench who is on form, who every time he comes off the bench does perform. So I would reward him with that star, right? Whereas Bailey, the only winger we have on the bench or somebody that can play in that position is Kaim Dixon, where I wouldn't necessarily give Kaim Dixon a start in this game, seeing that it's a very crucial game, right? And again, with Bailey, to be fair to him, doesn't perform for the national team, etc. The last couple of games for Villa, not too bad. So with this being a crucial game now, where it's a must-win game at home, then hopefully Bailey can step to the forefront and have a better performance than the recent one, right?
Yeah. So people keep asking, where's Lati's progressive passes? And I'm one person who's big on progressive pass, so I talk about party a lot. But the first job of the CDM or person in the 8, to me, anyway, and 8 should be going box to box, is to protect your back four. Don't let any chance. And right now on the right side, seem to be forever we're open. We got to fix that. But you got to make sure you protect your back four. Then you think progressively. Yeah, he does. And by people, let me just say this, because people don't seem to realize that. Go check Lati's stats and Hayden's stats, by the way. I know you guys say, well, it's the eye test. So you need to get glasses. Because the stats seem different from what people are saying. I'm not saying Lati is the solution at midfield. We need more creativity. That's why we need Ravel. But McCullough to me wasn't it. And just like how you said, you can't use one game. How are you not saying the same thing McCullough versus King?
So if they drop Bobby back in the day, beside here, then who play them button?
Bobby was poor in the game. People not saying that, you know.
Yeah, but Kanki,
Bobby was poor.
What these people need to understand is that this is like a final course in terms of qualifying for the
Yeah,
World Cup.
so you gotta play your best players. You gotta play your best players.
So no coach is going to go in there and be like, oh, let me go for Demario Phillips and let me go for all these guys from the JPL. This is a very important game. So regardless, you're still going to play your strongest players. You know what I'm saying? You go in training, you tweak certain things, you go on the blackboard or whatever the case is at the tablet, and you say that, listen, Bobby, you need to fill this position, you need to make that pass better. So this is not a wholesale change, or we can just make a wholesale change in the game against Saint Vincent tomorrow. Come on, people understand that.
So Devon has a similar team to yours, except he doesn't have Shamar. He has Anglin in the team. So he's playing Bailey, Gray, and Cephas, which is what I suggested before. There's a false 9 in there. I think the coach gave his hand away a little bit, and the team pressured more when he had Gray, Bailey, Cephas on the field. You remember that, right?
Yeah.
And then he had Brown up front. So in essence, and he put Bobby back in the defense, which I think Bobby is not as effective offensively, and he can run all day and play Hayden at the 6, and then have the offensive fire punch in that 4 up front. Some of them who don't, and Gray and Bailey don't like to run back, even though they did run back in the game somewhat. I think that may be the better setup. You play a false 9 who can actually move off the ball, not a big person up there who's not moving like the Titanic.
Yeah, but that's my team. Again, we can't expect wholesale changes. It's a very important game, right?
Yeah.
So you want to keep a large percentage of in terms of the base of the team, and then due to the injury of Bell and stuff, you cannot just tweak it. Maybe one individual never perform in Saint Vincent. If you have the guts to drop him, then you will drop him, right? But the team kind of still has to be a strong team.
All right, so I appreciate the call.
Yeah.
Thanks, son. That was 433 people. He has Ainsworth in the team. Who's Ainsworth again? Roberto Carlos, right? I think it's time we have Roberto Carlos probably start showing he's Roberto Carlos. That's what I heard he's being called. So he's Roberto Carlos, then you should be having Roberto Carlos in your team. But look, I do think Nicholson in center forward, that's a question. Obviously, left back is a question. Right center back is a question. Somebody call me. Sorry, people. Somebody call me on this phone. So those are our questions that needs to be answered, right? Those are questions that need to be answered. And let's see if they get answered tomorrow. Look, tomorrow, the coach, we can't afford to lose tomorrow. Hey, you see, if we lose tomorrow, it's a total meltdown, no, people. Total meltdown, no. No, they want to hear me. Total meltdown. So I hope we win the game. I had Lati at left back before McLean. Where do you think Lati should play? Hey, people, don't you guys watch a US game when we played the US? Where did Lati play? You guys recall when we played the US and we lost on that last second? Well, we tied on the last second own goal, and then they came back and beat us in extra time. Lati was in the defense, you know. It was basically impenetrable. Now, we didn't really have a lot of offense in that game, but we defended extremely well. Yeah, Lati is a very versatile player. So only for Jamaica playing midfield. People, please hit the like. We have 260 people on the chat. We have 156 likes. Come on, people. Let the likes be equivalent or equal to the number of people who are watching. If you never get a like, just get it. Close your eyes and hold your nose and just press the like button. Now I'll kill you. But no, it's gonna be interesting tomorrow as to who he plays. You hear me complain about the coach, right? As to I don't think he knows this team. And he's taking too long to know the team. He's been on board since what, August? We're now almost at the end of March. That means he's at about 6-7 months. Hey, coach, I know you don't watch my program, but maybe somebody can tell you. You need to start putting the work in a coach. You need to start putting the work. We're not playing with you, you know. We're not, now make World Cup thing, you know. We know some people say we're not going to make World Cup. And no, we're not anything there. You need to put in the work, coach. Put in the work. Put in the work. You'll be surprised you put in the work how you get outcome and results that's reflective of the effort you put in. But people talking about effort not being put in by players, then the coach not put in effort. Where should they put in effort? Good night.
Frankie, good night. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for the show. I appreciate it. Wonderful show.
What do you have to say, sir?
Okay, so you see how hard it is right now to select someone off the bench, quality off the bench.
Yeah.
And I just think the coach put himself in a little pickle because if you heard his press conference, he said that the team didn't surprise him when Saint Vincent didn't surprise him, but it surprised the boys. That's crazy for a coach to say something like that, right? If you know the team was that good, why this selection? And why was the boys stunned? Don't you think you should have them prepared to go in for battle?
I think it's an interesting comment that he makes, right? So I don't think he meant what he said, if that makes any sense. So he's been emphasizing this, and he said he told the team about this, right? So then they shouldn't have been surprised. So sometimes he says things which I'm not sure he fully comprehend what he's saying. Because wasn't he the same when he was saying before the game, they have watched them on video, they've watched them against El Salvador, they've beaten El Salvador, they should have won both games. He was extolling the version of the team and that he's told the boys about it. So it's a little bit opposite to what he's saying now, which is I think he's just, sometimes people in press conference say things, they're not totally sure what they're saying. That's how I view it. I don't think he fully understand that he's contradicting himself.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Another thing, right? When Grimmy was here, we all said he was a stubborn coach, but Grimmy knew exactly what he was doing when it comes to, as far as building from the back. He couldn't really, he didn't have players to deal with the ball. So he was very stubborn to make changes until he found the right pieces. Right? With this coach, I don't see any of the above. Right? I'm listening to him when he first came in to president, and I took everything that he said, word for word about selecting the best. He keeps saying it, but it's not happening. So my question to you is, Cranky, if you look at the Busby, the girls' selections, right? They could be missing key players, and they somehow find another player to fit that key player, which is that players playing in a high league, either in Division I, playing in college, but the intensity they somewhat matches the starting player that's not there. And their selection is very, how do you say it? You can tell that the coach is scouting these players, right?
Right.
Why isn't the male team doing that? Do you think it's because the girls, they don't, when it comes to selling a player, they don't bring in that much revenue compared to the guys?
So no, I don't think so. It's an interesting question and a fair question. So here's what I think about this. You don't have enough quality players locally to create any controversy. That's one. Two, right? So you're going to score the globe to get the best players because you don't have enough players locally. So you won't have local people complaining about this person being the team because you don't really have them there to be even considered for the team. Secondly, even though you do it for the under 20 and under 17, don't ask me how that works. Secondly, the coach is not having a quota system. From what I've heard and know, the coach is not dealing with a quota system. He's going to go out and get the players he wants to satisfy what he needs because he's the one responsible for the outcome at the end of the day. So he's not listening to anybody talking about no quota, no nonsense. He's not having that. So between the coach desires and third, the coach is putting in the work. You hear him talk, you see him, you feel comfortable with him. He's putting in the work. He's doing the recruiting. He's not having any quotas. And we don't have the abundance of players on the island to substantiate or justify why they should be in the team. So he's in a better position to go recruit who he wants because he doesn't have the Mavericks of the world or the Peppers of the world or whoever those people are in Jamaica who keep beating the drum on the airwaves and the JFF persons who want to sell players or JFF persons who want players from their parish or whatever it is to be in the team and are pushing for it, or JPL players who people want to give exposure to be in the team. He doesn't have those pressure as part of the ladies team. So it's a different construct, a different situation.
Okay, so when you hire a coach, right? You hire a coach based on his expertise. It's just like you, Cranky. You have a lot of years in the financial department, right?
Yeah.
So you know exactly, what you're talking about based on your experience, right? So when you hire Busby and then you hire the last coach that left, and then you hire what's the other guy from Sweden that did the scouting?
John Wall.
John Wall, exactly. And then you hear these coaches saying that, all right, there's no disrespect to the league that's there, the JPL, but these players are just not good enough, right?
Right.
And they were very vocal about it, right? But if you notice, it doesn't fit. Every single year, it's the same thing we come here, we talk about. All right, so now I got to look at it from a different perspective. If I have professionals coming in, letting me know that the team, these local guys that you want me to bring is not good enough, and I'm telling you vocally it's not good enough, but yet they somehow make the team, right? So now I got to look at it from a perspective of the JFF. Just the other day, they got out of the red. We're now there, the financial constraint. They're now able to, extend their tentacles, right? Do you think that they was just, barely scraping by and just doing what they can, and they see the problem, but they just couldn't do anything about it because of the financial constraint that they were under?
Well, they used to be under significant financial constraint, which affected how they source players, especially if they're in England. That was a real challenge they have. I think those constraints have been significantly lifted. Doesn't mean they don't still have, they can't be in a situation where they're spending frivolously, right? They can't do that. But they have more resources on hand to support the team. And let me just say this, people. Saint Vincent has 15 overseas players in their team. 5 of them from the UK, 5 from the US. That means they got to fly to Saint Vincent. Saint Vincent have more money than Jamaica. That means they got to bring those players from England and from the US and from Canada and other places where they are, because there's 15 of them people. They're bringing them here. Now, I can't use Ghana as an example because Ghana now have oil money, so they probably can't bring players in because they're bringing up a whole bunch. They have 15 too. Everybody seems to have 15. Jamaica has less than 15, and Jamaica have more people overseas and more players in different and better leagues than all these teams. We don't have money to waste, but we have more resources now at our disposal. I don't think that's what precluding us from bringing the players. I think the recruiting has been atrocious. It's been awful. No matter if we bring in players or not, it has not been thoughtful. And it shows in terms of how we're trying to if you can't come to me and make a business case, if I'm a player with a lot of potential, I'm young, I have Jamaican heritage, and you can't make a business case for me to come join you, why would I come join you? I'll wait for England till I'm 40. I'm going to fly in 9 hours so people can come cuss me and say they don't want I'm foreign up on them team. And I have a chance. If I'm Ramsey, for example, why not wait and play for England? They may never call me, but I'm good enough to be considered, right? I see Marcus Rogers being in the team. I see Alawak in the team. They're on my team. I'll wait. We haven't been able to go make a business case as to why these people should join us. We haven't.
And I'm glad you said that, Cranky. A lot of the Saint Vincent, the Trinidad, they have a lot of local players. But thank God Jamaica is in a pretty, we're just different. Even the girls and the boys and the girls, we're in a very unique place because we have so many different players that's overseas diaspora and also players that were born overseas that's playing at a high level, right?
Right.
And I'm glad that you said what you just said, because that's my final point.
Yeah.
If I was a player that's playing at a higher level, or a decent level, I should say, and I'm just looking and peeking in to see what's going on as far as, with the national team, I'll be very apprehensive to play. You understand what I mean? I remember when Bailey came out and said that he needs for the federation to select the best players. I think it went over people's head. But this guy, everything that this guy said, is manifesting right now. And if it's not a financial problem, it's obviously, it starts on the top, a recruiting problem. Whoever is hiring the coaches and whoever is hiring the coach to help him select, something is wrong there. The vision he's blurred. And he's been doing this, or she's been doing this. Don't know who's hiring these coaches, but it's obviously you can't see, the vision is not there. Is either him need to be replaced or something needs to be done, right? Somebody needs to be there next to him to help him select a good coach so we can have a quality team. That's all I have to say.
All right, so I appreciate the call. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you hear me ask Dennis the question about a technical director. We desperately, people need one. We are in dire strait when it comes to that. You need somebody to oversee your football program. You need somebody who can tell you, like John Wall used to tell us, even though I can't say I was the biggest John Wall fan, to be honest. I thought it was something a bit condescending sometimes. But at least John Wall was calling out what he saw, which is the players are not good enough. It's not the players' fault, right? It's not their fault. It's how they've been coached and nurtured and developed. So that needs to change. We have to do better to do so. The JFF should have some mandatory things. First of all, every JPL team should have a men's and women's team and should have an academy. There's some basic stuff you need to have, right? I know money's a factor, but figure it out. There's some basic things. The whole development infrastructure needs to be revamped. Now, the JFF is off financial restriction. And I've been told, even though Dennis didn't really confirm it, that they're going to get $3 million. No, that $3 million is sitting in a bank someplace with interest that they're going to have in their pocket. It's a start. Is it all the money you need? That's just a drop in the bucket. But it's a start to do something, right? It's a start to think about what do we need to do in the short, medium, and long term and go out and do it. And also, Dennis talk a lot, which he has been doing. And you heard Conrad Matheson was interviewed yesterday talk about this also, which is they're trying to engage the diaspora, obviously, to generate revenues. But let me say this. So they may not like me hear me saying this. You can't use us alone just for money, people. Hey, Jamaica, you can't want to shake the money tree and the money drop off and you don't want to give it nothing. We can't get no autonomy. We can't have no say. We can't have no involvement. You know, one year we talk about nothing. And start beat we. But you don't want for money. And that's a life work. This, as Donald Trump would say, and I like to quote Trump anything, life is I must say it, because that's what he sort of does, not what he says, which is, life is a transaction. I give and I receive. I give you money, I get something back. What am I getting back? You want my money, what am I getting back? You don't want me to be involved in nothing. You just want to take the money. As you heard Erwin Clear said, who I interviewed the other day, and Erwin is sort of big in the diaspora community, he's been doing it for years, involved in a lot of things, including immigration and Team Jamaica Bickle at Pen Relays. You want the money and you want Vigoe. You don't want to get us to get involved. And we have so much intellectual capital that I've been preaching about remote to Jamaica that you can leverage, or you should be leveraging. Don't just come for the money. It's a transaction. Because if you want my money and not give me outcome, then why would I want to engage you? You know, Conrad said yesterday, which have some credence to it, which is, even if the team is not performing when you support the team, I totally agree with that. But the team has the potential to do really well. The team has the potential to do really well. Even in bad situation, Drew Ross, you can get goodness out of it. Just look for it. Don't just throw it away because it's bad, right? But no, but I do believe that the team, we have enough. Look, between a Greenwood, a Jonathan Rowe, a Lewis Baker, the quality is only going to get better to me. Sterling also, Dujan Sterling, that's another player we should be pursuing. Now, the problem that we have is, and I've got this from good sources, but even in the JFF, is that Pika is a problem. Pika is a problem. Right? Pika is a problem because they're not helping to expedite the process. Some people even view them as a blocker. So it needs to be that in every single aspect of the football, whether it's the leadership, the administration, the government, the process to bring people on board, the whole citizen process to acquire your citizenship, the technical aspect of the game, the coaching. There's so much work that needs to be done. They have to go out and get people to do it. And the first thing they need to do is go buy a technical director. Now, my understanding is a TD gonna cost you on the lower end $250 US. It's a lot of money for Jamaica. So it's like you're hiring a coach, but you probably need a TD more than you need a coach. To me, you need a TD more than you need a coach, because the TD is going to put a structure in place, a sustainable process to have people coming through the pipeline to keep rolling the players out. Because they put a structure in place where we can develop these kids in the right way. They have the raw material. We can take that raw material and mold it to have good players. How come Pika not blocking it because of the team? No, well, that's what I've been told actually. So, and you know what? I've got an example of, like, I'm gonna give you an example. Nitro. I was told it took Damari Gray 2 years to get his passport. That's what I was told. 2 years. And people believe that Pika is part of the problem. Now, it may be that the process around Pika need to improve. Look, the JFF owned this. The JFF should have worked with the government and Pika to have an expedited process and work with these players to get their papers when they need to. The JFF did not have no influence. They're not working to get the influence. Right? No, FIFA doesn't pay for the entirety of the technical director. I think someone said the other day FIFA pays about $50,000. So you have to come up with the next 200,000. It's a lot of money, but I think when Dennis is done, not done, but when Dennis can mature the financial process, he'll be able to generate the revenues to pay the technical director. Hopefully it's not 5 years from now. Hopefully it's like a 6 months to a year from now. But if more, look, when I saw Messi went to Jamaica, you see how much bandwagonist sponsors we had at the game? Them come out of nowhere. And yes, it works out well for Rudolph Speed and Cavalier, but they're not coming up for the national team. But as Conrad said yesterday also, which we talked about, which is, if the brand is not good, if the brand is not respected, if the brand has had issues, then people don't want to be affiliated with the brand. Now the brand is improving. They need to win tomorrow, which will help them. Because as Dennis keeps alluding to when I interviewed him the other day, which is more around the product needs to be good. The product needs to be good, right? If the product is of the right quality, then I think he believes everything fall into place. My views always is, if the leadership is at the right quality, then the leadership will fix the product and fix the players in the team and hire the right coach. Dre says, Crank, let me ask a question. Why is it we can't see a player from the U20 when I do see quality players from... Finish that, Dre. So the U20, well, you saw Adrian Reed, right? Adrian Reed was on the U20. He was a captain. Hey, Lee Young, awesome, Lee Young. I like those stories, Lee Young. I love those stories. I thoroughly love those stories. So congrats, Lee Young. And congrats, Lee Young. It's the best thing to get. Not only get into college, the college of your choice is the best thing. What she's studying, Lee Young, or she doesn't know yet? Does she have a major? But great. Thank Lee Young. I'm sure you're a proud father. It's always a good thing. Bless up. So if you haven't hit the like button yet, people, please do so. So tomorrow, people, what's your prediction for the score tomorrow? What's your prediction? First of all, do you like Pressa's team? Sorry, Lee, I'm gonna take this dog. Do you like this team on the board? Nicholson, Cephas, Reed, Bailey, Latti, Isaac, Ainsworth, Ethan, Richard, Lemba, Andre. What are your thoughts on this team? Get a rating. Oh Lord, a friend of mine just texted me, and he's the biggest pessimist. I'm gonna call him out. Not call him name though. He just texted me saying, "I'm tuned in. Sponsors don't sponsor losers. It's a business. They're not wagonists." So I call them wagonists, and he's saying no. They sponsor winners because they want their brand to be associated with winners. It's actually a fair point, actually. Is that the person who just texted me? Is that why you left your school, Aggie, and supporting Calabar? Is that why? Are you saying your school is a loser? I'm just saying. I'm not saying who you are. I'm just throwing that out there because I noticed you don't like my school and you support Calabar, even though they haven't won in a few years. I'm just asking you because you're in the chat. You can tell me. Nitro say I prefer Devonport team. What was Devon's team? Let me try to find Devon's team. So you don't. Do you guys don't think Ainsworth is ready for the big time? Are you afraid he'll give away a penalty like he did in the last game? I'm trying to find Devon's team, people. I don't see it. But Devon's team was not materially different. Devon didn't have Nicholson, right? I think that was the only difference, wasn't it? He didn't have Nicholson. He had Lati in the team. Devon, did you have Lati at left back? Or I'm trying to find your team, Devon. Did you have Lati at left back or you had him at midfield? I don't see Devon's team. But I was talking to before the game, and he's actually went to Trinidad to watch Trinidad play because his son played for Trinidad. And they must be excited. They're going home. They're leading 2-1 in a better position than we are. They scored 2 away goals. That means Cuba has to score 3 and beat them to overturn that first leg. He said that's why friend said that's why he support track. He support no Reggae Boy. Them now we nothing. He support the track team. And by the way, he doesn't just support them. He goes to Carifta games. He goes to champs every year. He goes to World Championship. He's on the road with the team. So just like how you see like AJ and them who go to all the games, he goes to all the track and field event. He still hasn't answered my question as to why he support Calabar when he didn't go to Calabar, but that's another story. Devon, I can't find the team, Devon. Devon, I can't find the team. Replace Cephas, Low, and Lati. Really, Dre? Wait. So people, let me ask you guys this. You don't think Cephas should start? Seriously. You guys don't think Cephas should start? Even the coach was praising Cephas, and I think you guys realize that. So Jerome said, my team is Blake, Lati, King, Pinnock, Bell, Hayden, Bobby Gray is a 10, Cephas, Bailey. Oh, you have Shamar in there. I'm not feeling the Shamar thing. Not against Shamar, but Shamar to me has been out of form. When Shamar was at the trying to fix this thing. When Shamar was at the Copa, he was just not it. So you're saying, so who are you playing at left back? What are you putting at left back? I just saw your thing. I'm dropping King, McCullough, and Boza. You know, those are locally born players, right? You know you have to have a balance in the team. You can't just have all English-based players in the team. That doesn't work for anybody, especially Tapa and Skill Cole and Maverick and all them people there. That doesn't work for them. So the view, and I've heard this view before actually, the view is that I believe Cephas success from running at tired players. He just started about 3 games ago and had a nightmare time. Yeah, but he's playing regularly now overseas, isn't he? He's in the Turkish first division. He's playing regularly and he's scoring goals. Yeah, Ricardo. Hey, Ricardo, I'm glad you're asking that, Ricardo. I'm glad he asked because he hates Casey. It's all about Ricardo. He hates Casey and he wants Casey to lose. So he has to support a team that can beat Casey. That's all it is. It's not even about C-Bar per se. I don't think he loved McKinley. So let me go look at Devon team. So Devon said Dex. So who's playing left back, Devon? I guess you have Lati at left back, right? I'm just gonna put Lati here. I'm gonna write the whole name. I assume you have Lati at left back and you have Low here too. Okay. You have Dexter. So we have Lati, Ethan, Dexter. You have Isaac. So you have no Nicholson. You have Anglin. That's an interesting one, actually. So you have Anglin. And then I guess up front, you have Cephas. You have Bobby Reed. You have Bailey. Who am I missing? You have Gray. So that's an interesting team. So this is Devon team, people. Gray. So where's Gray playing? So how does this work? Who's playing center forward? It must be great because Bailey ain't no center forward. Cephas can play center forward. Actually, people, what do you think about this? Could Cephas play the 9 and stretch the defense? Last time I said, Cracky, did you go to school? I'll go high, go play football, then you cry when exam results come out, everyone pass except you. No, sir, no. I did well in school. I did well in school. I did well in school. No, I did well in school. That wasn't me. No, I did well in school. I grew up in the country, I grew up at Lucina, so people play sports and do them schoolwork. In fact, it was almost like a little cult we had. I was in the Bright Farm. If I may say so myself. And we thought we were good at football. I'm not sure we're that good, but we're decent. No, but I did well in school. No, I didn't hide and play football. No, sir. So Flo say should be there. So maybe we have Cephas play. Yeah, but then you lose that thing on the wing, don't you? Because he's been very effective on the wing. Because then he has to do the whole of playing his back to the goal versus running at defenders. Oh, okay, boss. Okay, boss. It flew over my head. Come on, Chris, man. That's a little bit harsh, Chris. I agree. That Dominica game, though, he met somebody who was probably as quick as he was, and they scouted well. Dominica scouted well. So when Cephas got the ball, the kids start running before Cephas start running. He wasn't effective in that game, but he was effective against the U.S., even though he missed a sitter. He was effective against the U.S. when we lost to them, and he was really effective against Saint Vincent. He was skinning that player. He came on and ran past people 3-4 times. Nobody else did that. Oh, Lord. My friend is basically saying, so you're telling me that U.S., Canada, and Mexico are host teams and we're still struggling to make the World Cup? Yes, we are. We're not as good as we think we are. So Float is saying that we should go down the middle. No, it's a good point you're making. You play the ball between the lines. It's different from Nicholson up there. Cephas will get to the ball. Even overhit balls, so now you can go over the top with Low or with King like you were doing, because you have speed on the other end of it. So Chris says, Leon Bailey and Gray are better than Cephas by far. I think Cephas is going to surprise you, Chris. So Chris, what were your thoughts on Cephas' game the other day? You don't think he was effective? People, let me just tell you this. Don't ever say take away something. You can't do that. So then say take away Bailey's skill. Or take away Pinnock's composure. You can't say take away one of the main attributes of a player. What do you mean? That's what differentiates them as players. Take away Mbappe's speed. Is he the same player? Don't ever say take away an attribute of the player. You can't do that. That's one of the differentiating factors that they have in their repertoire that they utilize to be effective in the game. If you take away Bolt speed enough us, you can't say take away the man's speed. Come on. Let's do better than that. His game is a speed game. He's ridiculously swift. And if he gets a step on the defender, well, he's going to go by them. Not sure what he's going to do after that. That's the problem that he has. That's what I would ask the coach about his end product, actually. I'm getting frustrated about this. For those of you in the chat who are YouTubers, because some of you are here, please spend some time. Look, I think YouTubers in general do a good job at these press conferences. Let me rephrase that. For those of you who are in the media, especially traditional media, please spend some time thinking about the question if we go to the press conference. Now, I know after the games, it'll be an impromptu, but assess the game. Go watch other people's channel and assess the game and hear what they must say. And compose your question based on the factors that inform the game, the deficiencies you see, where changes that being made. It's kind of funny. When I went to watch Jamaica play against the U.S. in St. Louis, and I heard the post-game press conference, I was amazed that nobody asked the coach. Robinson was running wild all damn day. Why didn't you adjust your team to cut off what he was doing and give yourself a chance to win? There are things in the game you see, and I actually said it on JD's channel because I called into his show. There are things you see in the game which you're just like, why isn't he adjusting that? Why isn't he doing that? Why is he doing that? That doesn't make any sense. And those questions should be asked in the press conference. I'm not going back to the press conference. I told you guys that. I'm not going back to the press conferences. I'm gonna observe, but I would like people to spend some time thinking about their questions. You know what? Go on these AI thing. AI can give you questions, you know. Go on, because I hear some people ask questions when it's an AI question them. Go on AI, get the question, but you have to tell AI what you're looking for. Don't just say AI, I want to ask these questions. Go to AI, but direct AI. AI, you're missing A, you're missing B, you're missing C. Think about this AI. Think about that. Then you're going to give you the question in a very composed way. We can ask it, and it's going to be very articulate. Should we ask question like we do love playing for? Can you see me take my my headset off, right? That question to me, you should be banned from the future press conferences, at least for one press conference. Whoever asks that question should be banned for a future press conference. You shouldn't go to the next press conference. Seriously. I don't think I've ever heard a question like that in a press conference. You're going to ask a player who's Jamaican born. I don't even know what that question is trying to achieve. So I don't like to beat people about their questions. But I get frustrated sometimes when I hear some of the questions. Like a question needs to be penetrative. It needs to be observant. It needs to be something which is inquisitive, and it's something that's even sometimes intrusive, that's really trying to get at something, right? It's not to catch the coach out. It's to say, for example, you brought on Cephas in the game with, say, 20 minutes remaining. We need a punch. We have seen his speed. Why wouldn't you have made a change before? Nicholson wasn't effective. Why didn't you take him off earlier and maybe switch it up? The players had on at the end of the game and they look effective, will that be the new team for the upcoming game? Somebody's calling me and they drop off. But sometimes the questions are so obvious, given facts and circumstances, you should just figure out a way to ask the right question. Can you see what the old educated technical players did with the fast Cavalier players? Good evening, good night. Hello.
Cranky, what you doing? What you doing, Cranky?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm all right, I'm all right. Just listening to the show, and people are speculating about the starting 11. It's very interesting. I mean, how can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I'm listening.
You hearing me?
I'm listening. Yeah.
Yeah. That people think that Cephas cannot play in the number 9 position. But here's the thing. There's no substitute for speed. You can't coach it. It is what it is. And we tend to play balls over the top and nobody to get to them. I can tell you within 10 yards, 20 yards, there ain't nobody going to catch him. The only thing they can do is pull him down. That tall kid at the center back position for Saint Vincent cannot even run near him when he's jogging. He has blistering speed. He's quick out the block. And if we can get him to latch on to those balls over the top, it's trouble. The only thing I want Cephas to do is that when he gets to that ball, he needs to change that speed. Slow it down now, because you're going to be 5 yards ahead of them. Slow it down, roll it out your foot, and beat it onto the goal. He will score.
I don't know if he's going to score, but I know he's going to create some problems.
He will score. No, he will score.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're that confident, because a lot of people believe that Cephas doesn't have the mental, perspective when he gets in the final third to make the right decision.
The thing is, I wouldn't say it's the mental. Within the game, there's a change of speed. And when he gets there, it seems that he can't slow down. He's playing at the same speed. If he can adjust that, he will be fine. Very effective.
Okay. Well, I hope you're right, because we need effectiveness tomorrow. There's some people supporting your perspective that him playing down the middle, but I'm not sure the coach has even thought about that. I think the coach is probably seeing him on the left. He was effective on the left in the last game. I'm sure the coach is going to think about how to exploit it. He seemed to think about Cephas as an impact, come on, player versus a starter.
The thing is, if you put him on the wing, who you're gonna not start? Demar Gray?
No, put Demar in the 10. Why don't you play Bobby and Hayden as a double pivot?
So if you do that, if you do that, that means you have to play Nicholson.
No, you can play. No, you don't have to, because somebody has to get the ball to the center forward. So you could play Cephas. So you could play Cephas on the left, Gray in the 10, Bailey on the right. We're missing somebody, aren't we? Oh, Brown. Some people think that maybe Brown instead of Nicholson. Some people even calling for Dixon.
If you're not gonna put Cephas there, I would go with Nicholson. I wouldn't change Nicholson.
Yeah, but has Nicholson done anything in the last year and a half to warrant being on the field? Seriously. Not to knock the player, but has he done anything to give you comfort that, you know what, he's the solution?
But he's doing well for his club. In about 5 games, I think he have 1 goal and 4 assists.
Okay.
Yeah.
He looks sluggish to me. He wasn't sharp. That he had 2 chances in the game. He didn't look like scoring. He was pressing as a one-man team. He wasn't moving well off the ball. Those are just observation that I made without even spending a lot of time dissecting his game.
Okay, so here's the thing with pressing. You can't press as a one-man team.
But he was doing that. He was doing that, which I don't understand.
You have to identify the press, and everybody has to be in sync.
Tell Nicholson that. Tell Nicholson he looks around and he just run by himself.
No, well, he doesn't need to do that, because he's gonna run from side to side.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna press, everybody has to be in sync. And unless you have that philosophy that you have 5 to 10 seconds to regain possession of the ball where you lose the ball, but everybody still have to be in sync.
Right.
So you can press all you want. You alone can't do it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. Should be an interesting game tomorrow.
You know, their teams play differently. All right. Like with my team, we don't press the center back if we can't win possession. So if we lose the ball and we cannot regain the ball within 5 to 10 seconds, we don't press the center back. So what we do, we drop in a block, maybe a mid block, and have them playing the ball between the 2 center backs and the goalkeeper. Now, here's the most important thing. You have to be disciplined and you have to be organized. So what we do is that we choke the front 8. So once we choke the front 8, so it's man to man. So our 2 center backs now becomes free when we line up man to man. So it's 8 versus 8. Their 2 center back is free. Our 2 center back is free. If they can't play out of the back, what they have to do, they have to go long. Or they're going to get frustrated after 5 passes or so playing between each other, between the 2 center backs and the goalkeeper. Now, what we do, we track and mark players. So when they shift, we move with the shift. If when they get frustrated, there's 3 things you look at. They scan the field, they look at the ball, their head comes up, scan the field. As soon as they look down on the ball again, that ball is going to come in the next instant. We drop off of the man and we put numbers where the ball is going to drop. So it must be a knockdown. So if they're playing it to their striker or one of our centre back will drop off as a sweeper. Next one will challenge the ball. And then we have our 6th and another, and the 8th around the ball. So it's 3 versus 1. We must win possession.
Okay. I understand the when you must win possession, because if a team is good at keeping the ball, you're not winning possession.
No,
all they're gonna do is wait and all they're gonna do is wait and pull you up.
If I'm outnumbering you in a long ball over the top.
Yeah, but why would they go long over? Why would they go long? Why would they go long over the top?
Because they can't play out at the back.
Devon, Man City walk through teams all the time. Even no matter how they get pressed, or if it's mid block, low block, high press, they walk through teams. What do you mean? Some teams can do that. Mexico did that with Panama yesterday.
Hold on, that means somebody not doing their job.
No, Devon. Suppose you, but Devon, no, listen, I'm saying, Devon. Suppose you come attack me and I can get by you. I have the skill to get by you. Doesn't mean you're not doing your job.
I'm not attacking you. Listen to the strategy. If your 2 center backs, you as the coach, your 2 center back has that ball.
Yeah.
And the goalkeeper playing it side to side between 3 of you, and I choke your front 8 men off by tracking and marking them. You cannot play out of the back. You have to go
Devon,
long.
with your philosophy, that means your team always have the ball then. That their team can't play it through you.
Most of the time.
Okay. So that you're saying you have better players then?
It's called discipline and good organization.
Okay.
Anyway, that's all I have to say.
I appreciate the call, sir.
No problem. Take care.
Okay. Devon people, the coach needs to be better. That's what I hear. The coach needs to be better. All right, people. We've been here for over 2 hours and 20 minutes. Probably 2. I promise not to do show more than 2 hours, but we've been doing the show. But first of all, I want to say this. I appreciate every single person who was in the chat tonight. Some have come and left. I appreciate you. Tomorrow is D-Day, people. Like I'm not World War II. And upon Normandy Beach, tomorrow is D-Day. We're going to be here between half an hour to an hour. I haven't decided yet before game time. We'll have the starting 11 by then. We're going to spend some time assessing the team. We're going to spend some time assessing the opposition. Because Saint Vincent, let's be fair on this, people. We haven't done this. And including yours truly, by the way. We haven't done this. We have not given Saint Vincent any credit for their performance. None. Are we thinking about that we weren't good enough? We haven't said the opposition had some ability or played with a certain level of vigor, energy, and some skill set, especially down the left, that gave us some trouble. We haven't said that. All we're saying is that we have better players. They rank 172. Yours truly is part of the issue when it comes to this. And we rank in the 60s, so why aren't we just wiping the floor with them? They have 15 overseas players. Let me repeat that, people. Because when people are playing overseas, they probably have less intimidation and less concern about the opposition because they're probably playing in different environment. I looked at the roster. I was on Transfer Market today. I counted 15 players. A number of them play in the US, a number play in England, and all over the place. And what we are realizing this, all throughout the Caribbean, which has exported human capital, everybody go look for fine people to come play for them. And some kids, I don't do enough research to talk to people from the other islands about their players, but I'd be very surprised if they have the same negative perception of diaspora players as we do. Because I'm sure Saint Vincent is a happy country to see, given their population size and the players they have, and they played against us, and it's those overseas-based players. Some are probably locally born, but live overseas and play overseas. We're helping them to at least give us a run for our money. Oh, Lord, here we go with this moron has to come up. Why you come now? Why you just stay away? 11 players in Bush leagues. Yes, even if they're in Bush league, they almost beat us. They should have beat us. Which says what about the coach that your person pick? Huh? What says about the coach that your person pick? Why we have some people that's coming here to antagonize me? You know, people, I'm gonna close the show down. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you being here. Some people we can't deal with them tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. I would suggest to the person who just came here, please go on somebody else's chat tomorrow and watch their channel. Watch along on their channel. There are a bunch of other YouTubers. I can name 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have options. Please don't come to my channel. We dominated them. We got a last-minute penalty, and we should have lost the game, except some player on Saint Vincent had a rush, brain-dead decision because Brown was facing away from goal. They had chances. They scored one. Blake made a brilliant save on another. They kicked one outside the post. Yes, we dominated possession. Yes, we had more chances. But chances doesn't win game. Goals win game. Yeah, and Latvia played low block today. Right? They didn't leave their half. They camped in their 18 for most of the game. And they had the first chance of the game today. If you remember, that Gooey and Pickford had a mix-up, and the kids should have scored. Then England would have been, you know what? The ball is wrong, people. All right. I can see that this thing is going downhill from now. So I'm going to sign off. Yeah, Madman come. We have to leave. We have to leave, people. Madman come. We don't want no mad people. If you're mad, go to Bellevue. Bailey has set up something at Bellevue for people like you. Go over to Bellevue. Bailey has a wellness place at Bellevue. Please go there. Right? Please go to Bellevue where Bailey has a place. You need to go there. All right, everyone. Please join me tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed and if you haven't shared the channel, please do so. I appreciate you, people. Have a wonderful evening and peace out. Good night. Frankie Life is the best to be now. For the best sports talk and it's free, yo. Frankie Life will be your guiding light by keeping you informed both day and night. Frankie Life, tell them. Frankie Life, heed them. Frankie Life, want them. Frankie Life. From the courts to the field, we'll never lose because Cranky has the hottest news. With expert analysis, we break it down. Our in-depth coverage is best in town. Cranky Life, tell them. Cranky Life, heed them. Cranky Life, want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life, where the sports is spicy and where we keep the discussion lively. Cranky Life, get to know the name because Cranky analysis is never lame. Cranky Life, give me my Cranky Life. I want my Cranky Life. Must have my Cranky Life. Whether it's football or track and field, you know Cranky is at the wheel. So join the journey through victory and defeat and subscribe and don't miss a beat of Cranky Life. Tell them, Cranky Life. Heed them, Cranky Life. Want them, Cranky Life. If you're from England or USA, from Kingston or Bombay, from Kenya or Canada, Lagos or Havana, visit Cranky Life. Tune into Cranky Life. Like up Cranky Life. Subscribe to Cranky Life. Cranky Life coming to you on weekdays. Cranky Life sometimes on Sundays. Pull up a chair and take a seat because Cranky will always bring the heat. Cranky Life. Me say fi tell them Cranky Life. Me say fi heed them Cranky Life. On them Cranky Life. Cranky Life will be around. Cranky Life is the best in town. Me say fi heed them. Me say fi want them. Me say fi heed them. Want them, heed them, want them. Cranky, cranky, cranky life. Cranky, cranky, cranky life. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them. Cranky, cranky, cranky life. Cranky, cranky, cranky life. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them, heed them, want them. Cranky, cranky, cranky life. Cranky, cranky, cranky life. Cranky. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them, heed, want, heed, want, heed them.